Alright, look, I'm just gonna cut right to the point. The conversation around YouTuber music sucks. I'm not talking about the music app that no one uses or those explore tabs that no one clicks on. I'm talking about music on YouTube by YouTubers. There is no shortage of videos making fun of YouTuber music, but almost every single one of them seems to barely scratch the surface in a way that is just like genuinely frustrating. We all know the basics. Jake Paul, Gabby Hanna, Colleen Ballinger. We've heard it a billion times already. But you know who you never hear get brought up in YouTuber music discussions? Not once. Actual YouTuber musicians. No, really, I'm not exaggerating. Nearly every single discussion on YouTuber music completely boils down to just the large cringe examples. Making fun of YouTuber music is played out and overdone and simultaneously barely even discussed. So I'm gonna try and talk about all of it. Let's begin. In order to talk about YouTuber music as we know it today, we have to go all the way back to the very beginning. The early days of YouTube was a very pure, fun time. Anything even remotely noteworthy or quirky would occasionally pop off and get embedded in internet history forever. That, combined with funny music videos having potential to go viral, established an ecosystem where any combination of these things might lead to virality. Not all of this is YouTuber music, obviously, but it does set the stage. Fast forward to 2010/2011, this was back when every YouTube thumbnail was an assault to the senses to look at. More people at this time were trying to create a formula for virality, and everyone started to realize that popular thing plus wacky equals success. And not just with skits, but with music too, and this gave way to the wave of Schmo Yoho and the dreaded parody era brought on by Bart Baker. It is this shift in the YouTube ecosphere that YouTuber music became a thing. And then it fucking exploded. Pick a YouTuber, they have a song. Pick another YouTuber, they also have a song. Every single YouTuber during this era had a song. Was it good? Doesn't matter. Buy it on iTunes. And nearly every example of YouTuber music you can think of, and including the ones you've completely forgotten, fall into one of 8 different categories. Starting with... This is the section that everyone is most familiar with, so I'm just going to speed through it a little bit. We got Jake Paul, Gabby Hanna, Colleen Ballinger, Dream, etc. But there are plenty of other less talked about examples, like Onision's I'm a Banana. There's the ASDF Schmo Yoho collab I Baked You a Pie song that fundamentally got tied to cringe culture and comedians whose entire joke is making a silly face. And who could forget Doin' Your Mom, a song that is objectively horrible, yet undeniably catchy. Trisha Paytas tried music, and it's something, alright. I don't want to make assumptions, but I'm willing to bet real money that My Chemical Romance does not appreciate whatever it is they're doing. But there's one major example of YouTuber music that is completely overlooked. Shane Dawson's Super Love. I know, I bet that is a combination of words you haven't thought about in 10 years. It's like a sleeper cell activation code, but with being like shameful over being a Shane Dawson fan at one point. It's got the classic weird plot where it's set in high school despite every single person clearly being a fully grown adult. I don't understand why so many music videos do this, by the way. Just have it take place in college or something. Like, that is infinitely more convincing than this guy being 16. By the way, in case if you haven't seen it, the plot of this song and music video is Shane Dawson doing an Avril Lavigne impression where he tries to win the girl of his dreams by dressing up as the Pink Power Ranger to save her from abuse with his superpowers, and it is exactly the level of quality that you're picturing. The bridge to the song is a very 2012 royalty-free dubstep breakdown, which is a really nice touch considering it truly clashes with the entire rest of the song. This video is a perfect example of YouTube quality improving with time. You know, this video was worth 19 million views way back when, but if it came out today, it would just be like a school project. Pretty much all of Shane Dawson's music sounds like when a Disney Channel actor releases their first album. Do you know what I mean? A lot of YouTuber music is one of those things that's really awesome when you're 12, but the older you get, the more you realize that a lot of it is just kinda ass. But not all of it was of such cheap quality, because this leads us to the second category. There's a lot of YouTuber music that was very clearly born out of boredom and just goofing around, and it's not meant to be taken seriously or be lucrative in any capacity. It's just people having fun. But this section is about YouTubers sincerely trying to make something good and funny with a little bit of actual talent to back it up. It might not be the most high quality in the world, but it is very clear that a genuine level of effort went into it, you know, in contrast to doing your mom. Like, Julian Smith permanently set the standard for high quality YouTube comment, and yet I never hear anyone mention him. While a lot of YouTubers in 2010 were still kind of just farting around, Julian Smith was putting out videos that were hilarious, look good, and sound professional. Dare I say he was the first YouTuber to pull off all three of these things simultaneously. It was way ahead of its time. And the songs, way better than they had any right being, like truly leagues above the rest, even now. Epic Rap Battles of History kind of varies in quality a little bit, but they also set a new standard for wacky YouTuber music. Also, the first two verses of TMNT versus Artists is like one of the best things to ever come out of comedy YouTuber music ever. Period, hands down. There was a whole Shia LaBeouf thing that I never got, but everyone else loved it, so I'm including it. Rhett and Link are legends, and they have more viral songs than I can even mention, plus they're in Sorry for Party Rocking, which is just kind of cool. And I know there's an aspect of valid controversy now, but I still think Tiny Meat Gang deserves to be in this category as well. There's also classics like The Ultimate Showdown, Tayzonde's Chocolate Rain, Shoes, Boy in a Band, PewDiePie, and some of those are definitely way more controversial than others, but they still fit into this list regardless. Also, do y'all remember Yesterday, Today, Forever? No? YTF? Okay, most of you still don't remember. All the Ryan Higa songs? Yeah, those ones. Those songs actually felt like they paved the way for what would eventually become Tiny Meat Gang songs. It is very 2012, but like, man, something about a Justin Bieber parody about actively fighting back your diarrhea just gets me, man. But that leads us to actual musicians. This category is split into two different parts: YouTubers who make music and musicians who are also YouTubers. There is a very huge difference, but I do feel like they deserve to be under the same umbrella. YouTubers who make music are usually just YouTubers that have a musical side project that is completely separate from their channel itself and an attempt at making music without using comedy as a crutch. Some examples of this would be Meat Canyon's Cask, Moist Critical's band The Gentleman, Nakey Jakey's Jakey, and Corpse. Sky Does Minecraft tried to be a rapper for a little bit, which is a funny sentence, I'll admit, but it's very clear that a lot of actual effort did go into it, which, you know, is worth something. Destry Smith was on some Owl City bullshit with Sailing Home, and I'm pretty sure no one under the age of 27 remembers that combination of words. Rhett has James in the Shame, I have Industrial Forest, subtle plug. Granted, some of these projects have existed longer than their YouTube career, so technically it came first, but still these are essentially side projects and not their main thing. This is in contrast to YouTubers whose whole thing is being a musician, like Andrew Huang, Mystery Guitar Man, Jared Alonge, Rob Scallon, Jared Dines, Stevie T, K-Mac, Rumi, Davey504, Page Fire, etc. There's also a subset that I like to call remix tubers, you know, like 10-second songs, Max Glocky, Andy, Shmo-Yo-Ho, just people who work with primarily pre-existing music to some degree. Remix tuber sounds like a slur, but I promise it's not. It's valid. Obviously, if you can't tell, there is a trend here, and my tastes are decently limited, so it's not the most thorough examples, but I think we can all agree that this is a better selection of YouTuber musicians than just another video complaining about Jake Paul again. Sometimes the line between serious side project and content can get a little blurry, oftentimes starting off as a one-off joke but getting more fully realized with time. Or sometimes you have a serious music side project and it's just way easier to just shoehorn it in with the rest of the content just to kill two birds with one stone. There's also music projects like Grimbeard, a serious side project of Grimbeard, but it also gets utilized for scene transitions and background music in every single YouTube video, so it's both separate and completely fundamentally tied simultaneously, and yet the line gets a little blurry. Bill Wirtz makes music that is separate from and an integral part of his videos as well. Ninja Sex Party really sticks out among YouTuber music, as you could tell it was competently made by someone who actually really cares about the musical quality and has talent, and not just solely relying on comedy to fall back on. Sometimes if the level of quality is high enough, it can even become a mainstream success. There are plenty of now famous musicians who started off as a YouTuber. You know, we got Bo Burnham, Poppy, Joji. Remember that one YouTuber, Mazzy Maz? I wonder what he's up to now. Oh shit! Granted, these are very few and far between, but it is very cool to see. Some musicians get incorrectly labeled as starting off as a YouTuber, like Zendaya and Justin Bieber, but I don't really think that counts fully. Maybe I'm just being an elitist, but I think it only counts if you really squint at the word YouTuber, and I don't think that counts. But on the note of not really counting as YouTuber music, the There are tons of stuff that does not qualify as YouTuber music, but is still fundamentally tied to YouTuber culture more than it does music culture. Friday, Never Gonna Give You Up, all the Launchpad performances, Pentatonics, so on and so forth. Like, The Lonely Island does not count as YouTuber music, but in spirit, it kinda does. The major corporate backing and the fact that it was made to be aired on television by definition disqualifies it as being YouTuber music, but I still feel like it should be a part of the conversation at least. To me, it doesn't really feel like an extension of a big media corporation. It just feels like YouTuber music that just coincidentally happened to have a giant budget and a lot of celebrities happen to be there. The first time I heard, "Man, this ain't my dad, this is a cell phone," my 12-year-old brain thought it was the funniest shit ever, and now that I'm 24, I can proudly say, that's actually still pretty funny. They got so many bangers, and even though by definition it is not really YouTuber music, to omit these legendary videos from the list just feels like a crime. Same with some classic Weird Al videos. I know it doesn't count, but like, it's still real to me, damn it. Also, What Does the Fox Say? Doesn't count, solely just because I hate that goddamn song. But speaking of stuff that's kind of annoying, one of the most noteworthy trends of all YouTuber music is all the damn Minecraft music for some reason. Tobuscus, Captain Sparkles, all those godforsaken Minecraft parody songs. Oh my god, there was so many of them. Fallen Kingdom, Revenge, Don't Mine at Night. I don't know whether or not it's self-aware or if it's taking itself so seriously that it's just like becoming hilarious. Or maybe it's like The Room, you know, like it took itself so seriously that everyone found it so hilarious, and then the creator just kind of leaned into it rather than fighting it just so he could go with the flow. I don't know, is that what happened? Regardless, any discussion around YouTuber music that neglects to mention Minecraft parodies is null and void in my opinion. Even though it's ridiculous, there is no denying that Minecraft music was insanely lucrative while simultaneously being family friendly, which is a good combination of things to strike on YouTube. Honestly, if I was smart, I would ditch my Dark Ambient project for a Minecraft cave sounds compilation, but I'm not gonna do that because I'm bad at business. There's also other video game based music like The Living Tombstone and JT Music, just, you know, this whole kind of subgenre of YouTuber music. I was like 16 when a lot of this popped off, so I was too old to be into it, but it would be a shame to not include, even if I have no personal relation to it. Another micro trend that tends to get overlooked a lot is Christmas music. Although it's not super common among YouTuber music, it is just gimmicky enough that it's a no-brainer for jokes and easy clicks. The Christmas music genre is something that everyone kind of hates a little bit, but it has an insanely lucrative nature due to it guarantees that people will pay attention to it 1 out of every 12 months. It is financially a pretty safe bet, and speaking of finances, vocal talent, non-existent. Production quality, middle of the road at best. Views, somehow astronomically high. We all know a soulless cash grab when we see one. It's not music made from an artistic vision or out of passion, but music entirely made because money. Jake Paul, Rice Gum, Kwebbelkop, you know, no one who enjoys music would ever sit down to listen to this. This is just a music video for their young fans to watch once and or buy out of obligation to support the creator. Dr. Disrespect has a music project as well, and it is very funny. Like, I'm sorry, you just can't be a right-wing grifter and be like, shut up, liberals, shouldn't you be at the pronoun factory? Haha. Also, do you guys ever feel alone? Like, shut up, bro. All of these are the most famous examples, but there are countless vloggers and beauty channels and random rich people who have millions of followers, despite it not even being clear what it is they do in the first place, that try out music for a soulless cash grab. It is so insanely common, but just not really on anyone's radar for longer than 30 seconds, so nearly all of it gets lost to time. One of my favorite subsets of cash grab YouTuber music combines everyone's two favorite things: YouTuber drama and someone poorly attempting to rap. That's right, it's YouTube rap beef. Everyone knows drama is more popular than content, But what if the drama solely existed through songs, and the only way to keep up with the drama is to stream the music? Guys, link in bio. It is a genius business model, especially if your fan base is solely comprised of middle schoolers with the same haircut. It is nearly identical to a money printing machine. A lot of YouTuber music in general falls into the comedy category, even just loosely, because a lot of YouTubers are smart enough to know that they cannot get by on musical ability alone, so they have to rely on a little bit of jokes and ironic braggadocious behavior just as a shield from any actual criticism. This is something that appeals to almost every single category to some degree. It is the most popular sentiment shared among nearly all of YouTuber music. It is rivaled only by the Soulless Cashgrabs, which makes sense. I mean, this platform is full of people having fun and trying to make money, so it's a no-brainer that these two sentiments would make its way into nearly all of YouTuber music. But we just don't really see YouTuber music that much anymore. Why is that? Part of the reason why I don't think we're seeing Soulless Cashgrabs nearly as much is that buying a song on iTunes isn't near as popular anymore. The vast majority of YouTuber music throughout history typically ends with one thing: download this song on iTunes. And this isn't simply a product of its time, it was always a plan from the beginning to be an additional revenue source. Nowadays, if a YouTuber makes a song as a Soulless Cashgrab, even if it does numbers on Spotify, they're only going to be making like, what, $200? The formula was genius when fans were willing to buy a song, but now no one is willing to buy songs, let alone stupid YouTuber ones, so you just don't really see it that much anymore. It's so hard for actual musicians to keep their head above water nowadays that replicating a musician in order to try and make a quick buck is just a ridiculous business move unless if you are personally invested in making music. So I think it's the death of iTunes and buying music in general that is one of the main reasons why we don't see YouTuber music popping off near as much. This era mostly feels gone, a relic of the past. I know that there are still plenty of YouTubers making music either because that's their job, it's funny, or just an attempt to make money, but I still sort of feel compelled in the grander scheme of things to talk about YouTuber music in the past tense. The closest thing we have to this era when it was kind of everywhere is music on TikTok, which usually just repeats the same trends of YouTube music, also usually leaning on the crutch of comedy, with no shortage of soulless cash grabs, and viral bait. With the only popular modern examples I could really think of being Planet of the Bass and just a handful of fun remixes. There are a handful of musicians who get a huge boost due to a sound going viral, but for most people it usually doesn't have any longevity outside of just being a funny sound people use and then never think about ever again. I have 2 sounds that have gone viral on TikTok. It equates to nothing. Anyways, I just wanted to talk about it because I think it's interesting how such a common staple of the platform can take so many different shapes and forms and do extremely well, yet still feel overlooked in some capacities. The best video I've seen talking about YouTuber music in a more thorough sense is a Rumi video. And absolutely no disrespect to Rumi in the slightest, but you know it's bad when the best piece of journalism on a subject is a reaction video. That's a pretty low bar, let's be real. Hopefully I did the topic justice, I tried my best, and I hope you enjoyed. Huge thanks to all my Patreon supporters for making this video possible. Mwah! If you want to join and help support me, you'll also get plenty of cool exclusive behind the scenes, bonus stuff, cut content, bloopers, all that. All that good stuff. Anyways, thank you for being here, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.